Joining us to discuss, defense attorney, former head prosecutor Bob Bianchi. Of course, Bob, thank you for joining us at both today. I must ask you this, because when interviewed by the police at the hospital, the doctor would answer every question indicating he really didn't know what happened. He would say, well, I don't think I hit her. I think I put a rock on top of her. Well, I think I must have. And all of these ways of phrasing answers to me means he doesn't really know what happened. And how can you then say, oh, I did it in response to her starting it and attacking me first?
Yeah, it's an interesting perspective, Judge, and it's good to be back with you guys. Thanks for having me. So I think what I was talking to your producer about before we went on air was that where the defense is going with this is in Massachusetts. There is what we call not a not guilty, but rather a passion provocation manslaughter that they're seeking. And the difference there is a life sentence for murder versus passion provocation, which is a maximum of 20 years. My last case as a homicide prosecutor actually was exactly in that space. Was there an adequate provocation, both objectively and subjectively? 2, was the person suffering under the provoking event? Was the provocation adequate that a person, a reasonable person, that's the standard, would have reacted? Was there an inability to have a cooling off period? If those elements are met and the jury believes he did it, but he did it under those circumstances, adequate provocation objectively and both subjectively, and that there was no time to cool off, and it's a significant reduction. So they're not going for the straight out not guilty here. They probably know that they can't. So I would be arguing maybe there's psychological testimony, or maybe without it even, they're going to say to the jury at the end of the day, to your point, Judge, the facts show he was so provoked. He was so agitated. He was in such a state of mental disrepair. He didn't even know what he did because he was reacting to that provocation of having been assaulted.
Yeah, and you got to wonder what the size differential would have played in that calculation.
Yes, because he's a larger man.
He's a much larger man.
Yeah, and you can see their pictures
world-class
together.
athlete.
Exactly, I agree. I think that's a factor.
So we'll get to that in a minute, Bob. Stand by. I do have to step aside here, folks, for a break.